Good morning. This is Miss Ellie White coming to discuss the last agenda of the Obama administration to economically destroy Russia by dumping on Russia's normal trading partners all of the fracking natural gas that Obama has taken from our Midwest regions by the 88,000 new wells, and the natural gas is currently being held in reserves to dump on Russia's normal trading partners, which are prohibited from buying their normal gas and oil this winter from Russia by the U.S. alliance sanctions. And this will greatly harm all parties. UK is discussing that they will lose between 10 to 15,000 of its own citizens this winter who are unable and completely inexperienced in winter conditions, because these are Syrian and Arabic refugees from desert areas which don't have our 13-foot snowfalls and 50 degrees below zero weather. So then you have all the people who were hurt economically in this last year of sanctions against Russia by not being able to sell their fruits and vegetables. And we saw huge stores of all kinds of products rotting on the streets in Germany because they were unable to sell to Russia. You know, these TPP and TTIP deals only favor that when 9 out of 10 partners don't want to go forward, you're in the basket, so you have to. And this is due to occur this winter at a great economic cost to all the peoples of the world, because the U.S. fracking of natural gas and oil had several agendas which went against it, which we are being not told. And those are that it cost 50% more to take out of the ground, and that the reserves were estimated, or rather overestimated, by 10 times the reserve, and were basically tapped. They didn't quit because they were being nice. They quit because there really wasn't much else coming out of the ground. Then you have our underground rivers and aquifers being damaged beyond belief, beyond control, beyond fixing, and many people that are dying of cancer and other diseases from these oils, gases, and other refuses being pumped into our wells, aquifers, and underground rivers. Because it costs so much to take out of the ground that way, we're also going to see huge tax liability and subsidies being granted to the companies that will sell to the European normal Russian trading partners. We're going to pay to dump the market at a huge undercut to Russia's normal trading partners, or anyone not prohibited by current sanctions and agreements in place, in order to utterly destroy Russia and being able to provide for its normal citizens out of the money it would generally take as revenues from the natural oil and gas that they would sell to those same trading partners. Now, when you take the UK alone is estimating 10 to 15,000 people dying this winter because of not being able to afford gas at current prices, and these huge pushes to cut oil production by $1.2 million, 1.2 million barrels per day from many countries, country quotas varying, of course. The effect on that is going to be possibly a doubling of prices this winter of oil, and we don't know what's going to happen with natural gas, other than the fact that Obama put in 88,000 new wells and fracked the shit out of mid-America, and we will not be able to pay for the giant subsidies necessary to sell them at a dumping or undercutting price to normal Russian trading partners, so we'll have to bear that burden too. And 100,000 people minimum are being estimated will die this winter across Russia, because Russia won't have its normal natural gas revenues to pay for goods and services which it would normally provide for its citizens. So at a 2 generations from now cost to our people, we're going to try to make one last economic dump, a seal of the nail in the final coffin of what, some giant chess game to prove that Obama can knock Putin off of his seat. You know, to those who are against me exposing that this giant scheme is in the works, you know, we've all been made citizens, and we're all brothers and sisters in humanity, and we need to stand up and speak when there are wrongdoings being done, which will kill 100,000 people this winter. And I speak from experience because I've had $128 million in 39 properties stolen from myself because I invested $40 every other week and turned it into an empire. And they don't want to show that any single mom investing $40 every other week can turn anything into anything. This is totally against the NWO Rothschild agenda. And so they have spent many attempts to destroy myself. I've had guys in guns and trucks chasing me and children into cornfields to hide. Come home and found guys with guns and trucks. Been run over by a truck and had emergency back surgery and 8 subsequent strokes. And then laying fully immobilized on a concrete floor with a tiny little child next to me, had guys with guns jumping through my window. And then kidnapping my daughter 3 times and throwing me into a steel isolation cell for 23 days. And making a parking ticket on my private vehicle, parked on private land with a brand new 6-week-old vehicle tag on it, being given a ticket for not having a tag, and it turns into 4 warrants before the Department of Criminal Investigations stepped in and, you know, jammed through 10 city and county offices and discovered all the necessary, not only to prove my innocence, but that they were doing 10 times what I had told them that they had done to me. And not only to myself, but to 150 other families. So we need to stop this agenda of attacking people who, at that point, I wasn't discussing any of these agendas. I was merely trying to save one property, my own little family farm, that the family member, David Wogernes, whose family of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and paid $3.3 million to a certain foundation in order that if that candidate won, and we won't say which candidate, but that she would promise him to elect as her Secretary of State, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So the story gets really big, and that doesn't even count the city I'm in currently, where he sent ahead and called a certain sheriff and said, "Who's your gray man that I can have somebody kill somebody that I don't want around?" And he paid another $75,000 to kill me and a child in order that nobody would find out that the bankers were actually paid 5 times during the banking crisis, and they're sitting back holding all of our monies and all of our properties, and we're going to pay for it for the next 3 generations. And then you have Janet yelling, "Oh, but the little banks need some money too." You know, it's just absolutely absurd, the degree of their stealing. And they have fought all this last year to take away every last dime from any American being able to survive, which includes why Obamacare was initiated. Because if you have a job at all, okay, then you have to pay $3,500 or prove that you have bought your own insurance policy, costing effectively the same amount of money, in order to suck all the available dollars away from any middle-class American person who's not in absolute stricken poverty. And this ensures that everyone in America, 75%, have less than $100 if they sell for something. And this was last summer, okay, before anyone even turned on their heater. So how can you deal with where I live, where the average heating bill is $300 a month, when you couldn't come up with $100 unless you sold your car, which hasn't been working for the last 6 months or year? So this is absolutely absurd that we're going to dump a new tax burden on the American people to handle paying that it costs 50% more to get this natural gas out of our ground, that we've used up all our resources, that we've dirtied all of our water, that any fresh water that's allowed to be left is being sold right back to us at $2 or $3 a bottle instead of 6 cents a gallon by the Nestle Corporation. It's just absolutely absurd the lengths that we're going to dump natural gas at a huge taxpayer U.S. American expense to Russia's normal gas trading partners because they're not allowed to buy or sell anything with Russia due to certain sanctions in place. So I hope that the Russian government has some other plan up their sleeve to get around loops or something to be able to sell their natural gas so that they have the funds to provide the normal social services which they provide to all their people, and to be able to, that they can subsidize to their people the cost of what's going to happen to natural gas and oil this winter, as we already are signing deals for every country that produces oil to decrease their output by 1.2 million barrels of oil, in order for what? For the 300 people at the top to have a huge amount of profit when winter prices drive, because of that lack of production now, prices to probably at least close to double, and that's assuming normal winter conditions, this winter of what our oil and gas prices have been. So please help that we can pitch in and save each other in every country as brothers and sisters in humanity and win against this awful world order which is conjugating all of these plans in order to simply take the last penny from the pockets of the people of the world. And I come to you and submit myself as candidate for ambassador to Russia and to the world. And I was chosen by Peru and Colombia in a stadium of 88,000 people being piped live to 265 nations around the world, with 500 of the top generals of South America in attendance, saying, "This is our ambassador, not the ones that they, United States, send to us, but the ones that we choose to ourselves, for honest, loving on the people, not being corrupt, and just coming here with basically zero resources to love and help the people in both of these countries in whatever manner that she can." So I'm proud to come to you and say that I'm willing to jump in and give the effort anywhere it's needed in the world, but our endeavors right now with Russia have been seriously undermined by certain candidacies which necessitated an evil villain in order to promote a candidate which supposedly had more political experience. Well, it's time to stop demonizing Russia, and it's time to look at what's in those emails, because not one person has ever said that those emails were not genuine in their own words, flying back and forth to destroy other candidates, other nations, and other peoples for a completely selfish 300 people at the top New World agenda. These are not leaders in countries. These are a tiny pot of people, 300 people against the world. And we need to stand up and say that this is wrong, and we need to realize that we have a firmament above us which proves us that we have a God which is in control, and we'll get tired of these shenanigans soon enough. And in the meantime, we need to save as many people as we can, both in body and in spirit. And people that would destroy 100,000 people this winter to merely be ruling over, what, a bigger area? Because if you're going to plan on killing 7 billion people by manufactured diseases and manufactured weather and robbing good, honest leaders and countries that care for their people of having normal trade partners, and then, let's sign another TPP deal, okay? And then next year when we're unfriendly to that person, we'll yank the rug out and completely destroy them economically and make millions of people all over the world suffer and die to prove a point or to win at chess against that individual is absolutely horrendous. We need to patch these bridges with all other countries We need to work together to help those individuals that are poor and not speak about how we, as a New World Order agenda, will rule with our rule, not the rule of the jungle, but the rule which we have come to initiate. What makes somebody better because they have a garden in their front yard or a TV in their living room? You know, are we so messed up in our thinking that the more stuff we have makes us more civilized than a good, honest community of people that love each other and work together? We need to stop all destabilizing regimes, and we need to work together. And we need to understand that they're not telling us the whole story. And that people that believe in God and the goodness of God and treat each other as they would want to be treated are going to win in the end. And we shall be resurrected to come back as the leaders of the new world, not the new world agenda. Jesus and God will win in the end. I thank you all for supporting me and supporting the efforts that I have to come and bring forth the truth. And rather than apologizing for speaking about both religion and politics, we need to understand that these things are deeply integrated. And our beliefs and our belief system control how we act to other people, control how we treat our neighbor, and control that we're going to be good, honest trading partners, talking about each deal as it comes along, and not forcing 20 nations to go along with killing 300 people in a false terror event simply to push forward an agenda which puts only 300 people in power and basically will end up killing 7 billion. So unless you're on that list of 300 people, you need to start working on God's side. I thank you. I praise God for this opportunity to bring this message to you. Please contact me with your thoughts and prayers at buffalostudy@yahoo.com or P.O. Box 31, Big Bear Lake, California, 92315. And remember that Americans don't know what's going on out there. So don't blame us, because it's not really us. It's the NWO, which encompasses individuals in Germany, UK, America, and other snobbyites. So let's, us people in the middle and the bottom, join together and just praise God for this beautiful day. Anyone that would like to support me, please contact me via paypal.me/buffalostudy@yahoo.com. And yes, I'm available for Ambassador to Russia, Secretary of State, or to sit on your Economics Council, graduating #1 in the world in economics in 2005 and in business simultaneously, and entering the master's degree program in peace negotiating, diplomacy, and military history, which was canceled at my university, by the way, because of a plot to assassinate George W. Bush, and I intercepted that plot, passed it on to certain individuals. All 6 Al-Qaeda guys were taken out, and I'm left without a university to finish my program with. So any of you Congress people out there that would like to nominate me to continue my diplomatic endeavors at the U.S. Naval War College, that's the only other college that has the program that I was in. So I apologize for not being current on my student loans, but since my program was canceled, I can't finish my program, and the family member of DNC, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, has left me without winter heat for 7 years and stolen 39, all of them, of my properties and wherewithal to support myself. So I'm an example of someone who has fought against the New World Order, and Jesus will protect me for as long as he has a purpose. So if you pop me onto your side and hire me in one of those aspects, I assure you that God will bless you and your administration tremendously. Thanks so very much, and have a great day, everyone.